This is a video topic which I've been wanting to cover for quite a while now, and I haven't quite known how to do this. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go off the cuff and talk about my opinion on this whole Smarks versus anti-Smarks thing, which is something that's been a part of the wrestling community for as long as I can remember being in it. Like, I'm someone who started watching wrestling in 2011, started watching wrestling content on YouTube around 2011, 2012, like way back then, and then I watched wrestling content 2013, 14, 15, kind of went away until about 2019, then 2020. So I've seen the wrestling community for a bunch of years. I've seen this Smarks versus anti-Smarks thing. Here today, I want to weigh in and give my opinion on Smarks versus anti-Smarks. Before I do that, comment down below what do you think. Do you classify yourself as Smark? Do you classify yourself as an anti-Smark? Do you hate these terms? You think it's dumb that people call themselves Smarks, people call themselves anti-Smarks? Would you prefer the wrestling community, if there wasn't these terms, to throw around? Like, what do you think? Comment down below. I want to see what you guys have to say. So that's that. For me, when it comes to Smarks versus anti-Smarks, I think I'll say this first off. I couldn't care less who you specifically like. Like, it's wrestling subjective. That's the thing. At the end of the day, if you really enjoy a wrestler or you really enjoy a match, that's great. To me, it comes down to how you express that, if that makes sense. Like once again, I don't care if you love Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is a good example. If you love Sasha Banks, that is awesome. I understand why you do, all that kind of thing. But if you're going on social media and you're loudly either hating on people, sending death threats, getting angry at someone over not liking a wrestler you like, it's just not a great look. And that's a characteristic of both Smarks and anti-Smarks. I've seen that in both kind of communities, I guess you'd say. With Smarks, I've seen that with guys like Adam Cole, Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano, the guys who are stereotypical, to use anti-Smark terms, vanilla midgets, those types. Like guys like that who, for example, Finn Balor, I've seen on social media, Smarks just absolutely love Finn Balor, they adore him, and that's fine, but it's attacking other people for not being a fan of the wrestler you like. That's more so a trait of Smarks I've seen, which I really don't like. Like, you never see me doing that, which is one thing I not pride myself on, but I'm happy I don't do, because it's just not necessary. It makes the wrestling community unnecessarily toxic. And I guess that's in all communities. Like, you see that in the NBA community, Jordan, LeBron, all that kind of stuff. You see that in soccer, Messi, Ronaldo, like all that kind of stuff. You have these like divides, and the community's naturally like that. But something about the wrestling community, dude, Smarks versus anti-Smarks, it's a whole mentality of like what you want from a wrestling show. By and large, Smarks want wrestling to be, very politically correct. You want wrestling to be match-based by and large. Don't really want the over-the-top, larger-than-life characters or storylines. More so prefer an in-ring based emphasis. And anti-Smarks prefer over-the-top entertainment, big, in-your-face characters, women showing off their bodies, that kind of thing. That's what anti-Smarks prefer. And in the context of wrestling, objectively speaking, I don't care what side you're on. I'm not here to, say I'm this side and shame you if you're on one side. Objectively speaking, the anti-Smark method of pro wrestling has historically done significantly better as far as revenue, ratings, merchandise, that kind of thing. We look at the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, like those periods have done way better, where in-ring and the work rate and all that kind of stuff isn't the main emphasis and the origin of the show. But you've got to acknowledge, this is pro wrestling. Not everyone wants to see the same one thing. People want like variety, and you're always going to have to need those like matches there. And in that regard, pleasing your Smark audience, pleasing your audience who wants to see the great workers utilized, those types, pleasing them is important as well. So trying to create a balance of that is always necessary for a wrestling show. Few companies have ever been able to do that really well. Like AEW has the makings of it as far as the segments, the MJF segments, the Jericho segments, Cody segments, and you've got the work rate matches involved. But there's just too many like matches, so it becomes more of a Smark oriented type show, if you get what I mean. So it's always tricky finding that balance in wrestling. I think you can like what you like, obviously, but at the end of the day, it comes down to how you express that. And smarks and anti-smarks, for one, I tweeted this out I think a week or so ago, I don't identify myself as either, because at the end of the day, I'm just some Australian dude who watches wrestling, makes videos, gives you guys content. Like, that's who I am. I'm not someone who lives and dies by being an anti-smark or a smark. I know some of you probably think I'm like an anti-smark AEW hater, which is kind of comical considering, I mean, the only reason I'm not watching AEW is because they copyright struck my channel, and I'm just not watching them and boycotting them for the time being just so I don't get another copyright strike. But in reality, wrestling's wrestling. Like what you like. I don't care. Just don't threaten me or attack someone else for not loving the same wrestler you do. Like, that's the thing. Just be civil with one another. That's the whole thing with smarks and anti-smarks. I get there's a natural clash there, and I see that all the time on social media because I follow both smarks and anti-smarks. I follow the people who, on one hand, the smarks who, you know, every day almost say, oh, AEW Dynamite this week looks stacked, and they show like match graphics for Dynamite, or oh my god, NXT this week looks amazing, and it's like, oh, we're getting Austin Theory versus Adam Cole. Yay, where's the story? Like, that's the kind of, you know, your smark type thing, just for one example. And then meanwhile, your anti-smarks is, you know, on the other hand, talking trash about these, you know, in-ring work rate kind of segments, talking trash about this and that. It really just comes down to, do you want to be classified as a smark or an anti-smark? Do you just want to watch wrestling? Like, personally, I just want to watch wrestling, watch good wrestling. Like, that's my thing. I just want to watch good wrestling, and not good kind of work rate wrestling. Like, that has its place, like the cruiserweights in WCW, but I don't want that to be all wrestling is. So does that make me an anti-smark? I guess kind of, but I don't want to really identify myself as that. It's a bit of a tricky one. So basically, that's the video. I'm going to kind of end it there, because that's all I really have to say. Smarks versus anti-smarks. Comment down below what you think of smarks versus anti-smarks as like a debate. All that kind of stuff. Like, comment, and sub. You guys know the drill. See ya.